The reason I'm going to link Western States is because last year I decided to channel all of that noise and all of that bullshit from people who don't know me. And I decided that, you know what? That's going to be a superpower too. Welcome to Boulder. We're actually on trails today. First episode we've done where things have melted out. We've had beautiful weather in the last week, and so I'm so excited to show you one of the best kept secrets in the entire Colorado area, maybe in the entire world. Some of the most beautiful trails in the world, and I think a lot of today is going to be a reflection on that beauty. I can't wait for some of the shots you're going to see. But from a training perspective, we're working under a bit of fatigue right now. Last week was the week after episode 4 that you saw. And so when we filmed episode 4, it was this hill workout where I went to the depths of hell. Like, it was really dark places to get through. But I came out of that a different athlete than when I started it. But part of the downside of coming out being a different athlete is that my muscles got ripped to shreds. It was a week until I was able to run outside normally again due to hamstrings delayed onset muscle soreness, which is unique for me. And so last week was the week after that. And I was able to lay down one of the best training weeks I've ever had. And so things are coming together well now. And where we're at in the training cycle is it's time to start putting the speed we've built, the power we built with the hills, all together onto some real serious trails. So you're going to start to see some technicality, some steepness, up to 30 or 40% grade at the top today. And it's essentially going to prime my nervous system to handle this type of terrain, while at the same time making sure that speed and power can translate directly to these types of trails. So it's going to be a doozy. And the workout specifically is called the Hill Beast. This is one that maybe we're infamous for. Usually the way we like to structure it is it's anywhere from 10 to 24 days out from a major race. I'm currently 22 days out from the Big Alta 50K, my first race of the year. And so it's time to get to work. First, unfortunately, I have some bad news. I'm playing injured today. You're probably seeing it. My nose has a nose strip wound. That's a little bit of blood because I've worn this nose strip so much and it's been so dry that it's cut up my nose a little bit. So the things we do for love. Gonna put it on. I don't know if I talked about this on a video before, but 2 reasons I love the nose strip. One, just the feel of more ease of getting air through your nose is great. I have a deviated septum. I actually fell in a trail race and shattered my nose. So that probably plays a big role for me. If you feel like you can't really breathe readily through your nose, it helps. But number 2 is when I'm taking gels or drink, you need to breathe through your nose. And if you're like slurping or something with a gel, the nose strip, at least for me, helps me do it more readily. So love the nose strip. Hopefully I don't rip off all the skin on my nose. I'll still wear it. Even if I do that, I'll just be putting it directly onto the bone. All right, we haven't done our warm-up yet, but when we're ready, this is where we're going to start. Go all the way up to that ridge line, and then all the way up to the little summit on the first interval. It's very daunting. You know what that means. Precision 100 milligram caffeine gel. Before this feels impossible. After, I'll at least be able to start. Okay, so the workout today is 10 minutes, 8 minutes, 6 minutes, 4 minutes, 2 minutes, 1 minute hills. The Hill Beast workout. Afterwards, we have the option to do 2 by mile on the road. We're going to see how things shape up because that is a lot. And I think there's a couple big obstacles today that I'm really coming to grips with. Number 1 is I haven't done any trails like this for 6 months, something like that. So it's going to be unique stress. Number 2 is the risk of ankle sprains because of that. Just getting back into it. I do a lot of ankle stability and mobility and tape my ankles and do all that, but it's still a risk. But yeah, what an honor to be out here getting to experience this. So thank you all. It's so freaking fun to share. And maybe the last little reflection before I start on my little warm-up is it's beautiful out here. It's warm, and you're going to see me shirtless on the hill intervals, I'm sure. And it's just kind of an interesting reflection on like the types of reasons that we might develop our personalities. Like, I think anyone who's watched these videos has seen, that's an interesting guy. Like, he tries to make jokes in the middle of hard things, and he's insecure, even as he's trying to do these really tough things, and he like contains all these different personality elements, for better and for worse, right? And I am reflecting on like the shirtlessness you're gonna see on this run, and how when I was a kid growing up, I never took my shirt off to go in the pool. Like, I was so ashamed of my body. And then, like, when people played shirts and skins, where like one side didn't wear a shirt and one side did, I would avoid those situations entirely because I was so insecure about the way I looked. And, it took getting older, growing up, and just learning that our bodies are fucking beautiful just the way they are, no matter what. And fully embracing that, and Megan really helping me with that journey, that made it so that when I'm out here, shirtless, like for me, even though now it's such a normal thing to the point that people make fun of me for it, it's also the ultimate act of like radical love, in the same way that running is the ultimate act of radical love. Like, I'm going out there today and there's a high chance that I mess up my ankle today and I'll be fine, but, or, just fail in front of the camera or whatever. And like, the reason it's radical love in that context is that for me, what love is seeing the gross parts, right? Like the parts that you might be ashamed of or might not want other people to see, and having someone, most of all yourself, go, heck yes, I'm here for that thing. I'm here for the gross thing. And the Hill Beast is a gross workout. So let's go celebrate it. And as always, before we do that, pick up our ankle tape and do a little ankle weight joggy jog. Just for 2 minutes, just so I feel a little better. Let me go out this way. And I will see you soon on my warm-up. Love you guys. Oh my gosh, this is so cool. Warm-up done. I'll see you up there. Cody, you're amazing. Show him that. Oh, this is so cool. Look at this. I've always dreamed of doing this since 3 seconds ago. Science and Sport Beta Fuel Gel. This is your kingdom to look down upon and rule. It's like Simba. The magic of this process is getting to show up, and it's getting to experience the full range of emotions. So I woke up this morning and I just didn't feel like, I don't know, I wanted to be on camera, to be honest. Like, I wanted to hang out with director Cody, but maybe we could just act like we're filming and not release it to anybody. And then I got out there and I took caffeinated gel, took a few gels, and I raced Cody to the top of that first hill. And in that moment, when we were racing, I was like, this is where it's at. And then things got goofy again. You can probably see the light come on in my eye almost. This is an ad for high carb fueling and the feed. It's nice slurping to feel. Slurped. Let's do our test. Oh man, I missed a lot today. That's for the marmots. All right, I'm gonna head down here, add an extra hill interval because it's so beautiful and I need to get to the other side of the mountain real quick. And then we'll finish the thing. That one went, I felt horrible at the start. And then as it went, felt better. So, okay. It was also like 13 minutes because you know how I do. All right. Okay. So cool to get to explore places like this. I know we have a lot of people watching that live in the mountains and might get used to this, but it never gets old. Green Mountain out there, Bear Mountain, 14,000 feet peaks, way off in the distance over here. Like, this is what it's all about. Sometimes it's easy to lose sight of it when you're on a treadmill or something, but I've lived in North Carolina, Eastern Shore, Maryland, where I grew up, Pancake Flat, New York City. There's places like this everywhere. Might not quite have this like majesty, but we're so lucky to live on Earth, and we need to protect it and love it as much as we can. So let's go do some more pain. That's steep. Okay. 6 minutes. I stashed this earlier. Look at this. What a good reminder. Love nature. Love our bodies too, you know? We're taking this down with us. As an offering, we'll paint it with some love on it. Fuck yeah. Let's go low. Okay. Let's hit it. Back down the other way. As we're filming this, we are 22 days away from the big Alta 50K, which is my first race of the season. I looked at the start list just before this to get myself hyped and to be able to talk into a camera. And it's stacked with some amazing athletes who I love and respect. Foremost among them is Eli Hemming, the greatest 50K runner in the world for sure. And I love that I'm going to get a chance to, you know, see him out there. Who knows? I might only see him for 400 meters. He's that good. But I love the opportunity to, you know, see the best in the world in action, because even if I'm not able to compete with him on the day, you know, I'm going to leave open that potential. And by the time I get to the start line, you know, I'm hoping that I will feel more confident. But to see him in action will make me better.
because the coolest thing is that like the rising tide of performance is lifting all boats. And so I'm going to go where the tide is coming in hard and fast. And that's a race that has free trail behind it. And all these professional athletes coming to get an early season stimulus. Like, it's going to be so fun to experience these trails with them. And I know I'm going to have to be ready to run steep uphills. So mission accomplished. I'm good to go there. I know I'm going to have to be ready to run steep downhills, and some of them at, 4 minutes, 40 seconds per mile, which is what Eli ran some of them last year. Right? Like, mission accomplished there. If I can put it all together on race day, we'll see.
Like a bag of crap, but in a great way, in a way that's the point. Embrace it. Yeah, so I was debating this reflection. That's why I was kind of staring off into the distance there for a sec. I got a message on Instagram last night, which was so nice, so kind. But they said, "Did you see the Reddit thread of all those people who hate you because you're positive?" And I'm sure it's more complicated than that. I'm sure I did not click on it and I did not see it, but it's so weird that I get these messages. I understand why people send them, but I don't need them. And so I didn't click on it, but I know the overall narrative from people who don't know me, and I get it too. But the reason I'm stopping right now and to mention this is because I felt bad when I woke up this morning, because that was the message I got right before I went to sleep, and made me self-conscious, made me doubt myself. And it's like, you know what? Fuck that. The reason that I'm out here and doing the things I'm doing, that's because I've cultivated over many years, through anxiety and depression and mental health struggles and terrible things that these people never heard about. I've cultivated a hopefulness that tomorrow is going to be better. And so, yeah, I felt like crap this morning, probably because that was in my head. But you know what? The reason I'm going to win Western States is because last year I decided to channel all of that noise and all of that bullshit from people who don't know me. And I decided that, you know what? That's going to be a superpower too. I don't just need love. I don't just need heart rocks. I don't just need optimism and hope. You know what? We're all dying. When I'm out here, like literally going to the very edge of what feels like death sometimes, those people are fuel. And I didn't learn that until last year. It took going through a terrible bike crash where I literally had to get acquainted with the possibility of death, and so much other bullshit from people who don't know me and don't know my wife and don't know my family. And I decided coming out of that you know what? I'm doing this for them too. And so yeah, I love them, but it was the same time that Not Like Us came out by Kendrick Lamar, and I'm just reminded of that line. He's a fan, he's a fan, he's a fan, he's a fan. And be a fan of this, mother. Bleep that, that's not okay. But everything else is fine.
This morning I woke up and I wanted to turn off, I wanted to go out for a run and just not think about like what might come on the other end of vulnerability. But then you left foot, right foot it, and you get out there and you remember, oh, that's actually the point. Because by seeing that low point and like understanding that this is a part of me too, and trying to fan the flames of the parts of me that I actually want to see in the world, which is love and positivity. That's the main thing. Like, I try to bring that so hard, and I hope if you ever interact with me, you see that. But also, I want to fan the flame of the me that does not take bullshit and that takes no prisoners when it's time. And yeah, that's a small part of me, but it's the part of me that sets records.
I've extended everyone for those guys out there. And I'm sure it's mostly guys. No, not all. Okay, now we just got the fun part. Sorry, one other thing, I realized when I film these videos, I'm a different person because you're catching me like when you have to channel different things to, bring out what you need. But think back to the start of this video where I talked about when I was a little kid who was ashamed to take off his shirt and just wouldn't even around myself in front of the mirror. And in retrospect, understanding what I was going through at the time, that was just a kid that dealt with anxiety and some depression, And I decided when I was really little that in the face of this overwhelming existential dread that I felt like when I was 11 years old, that I would just try to be good to people because like that woman that was walking with her dog and was so kind to me, how much that made me feel better about the world for that brief second. And like, if I could be that for someone, then I will take whatever group of people out there that just bristles against my existence. It's like, I get it because like, it's hard, it's complicated, and there's different ways to reach conclusions in the world. But just know that what is manifesting as positivity is just existential dread turned outward, trying to find, some meaning and purpose. And so for me, I decided when I was a little kid that would be love. And it took until last year, really, to the point that like I was able to channel that love to myself in athletics. Megan helped me reach that point in everything else, right? In coaching and parenting and all that. But I always had that little bit of part of my brain that was thinking about the people out there. There's so many of them that don't know me and say stuff that is so hurtful. And I know when Western State starts, they're going to be rooting for me, not just to fail, but to fail in ways that are humiliating. And to them I say, thank you. Because the reason I'm going a little bit longer on everything, the reason I'm reaching levels that are making my biggest haters want to avoid the race results every time I race, is because like I've embraced that it's okay to love myself in the face of that headwind. In fact, that's the whole point. So thank God for headwinds. Thank God for Director Cody, who's brought so much joy into this process. And thank God for the beauty of nature, which is just a good reminder that the narratives on social media don't matter. So I love you guys. Thank you for being here. One more, and you know what we're going to do at the end? We're going to get tough and add some road work.
Yes, I'm putting all of this weight on Western States in terms of the video, but it's weightless to me in terms of my future and the pressure on myself and my mental health. Because for me, if right now you gave me two options, I could go through one door and I get to go line up at Western States and I know I win and I know I set a course record and all of the glory that comes with it, glory in quotation marks because it's ultra running. But you told me that I could not train between now and then. I could not show up. I would just have to show up at Western States and be guaranteed this finish. Or door 2, where I get to train my ass off and get to wear my heart on my sleeve and go through all these emotions and go through all the ups and downs and the pain and the struggle and the aching legs. Like my legs are literally vibrating with pain right now from those downhills. But I knew I would have to go through all that to line up at Western States and DNF, so not finish the race, or DNS because of injury. I would take door 2 every single time. Whatever result comes of it, it's all about the ability to show up and go through all those things and learn whatever there is to learn, The pain, the struggle, the doubt, the mental health worries, all of that, it's all just a way for the process itself to unfold and for us to fan the flames of the characters that, and of our character that we want to express in the world.
That's a lot of climbing. Oh, gel. So a big reflection I had on climbing is just what I learned when I was young. And I always thought I was a terrible climber. It's kind of a theme, right? Like that I doubted myself for long and needed to harness that. But as you just lean forward into the climb, I always like to think about mimicking the percent grade with my lean. So if you're on a 20 or 30% grade, you feel like you're leaning forward pretty far though. It's mostly from the ankles rather than the waist. And if in a shallower grade, you just lean forward a bit. But if you lean forward, take all the tension out of your body and just put one foot in front of the other, it can be hyper efficient to jog even if it feels the same as hiking. We call it the granny gear, which is named for the smallest gear on your bike, the gear that you have for going up the steepest grades. In running, you can click into that gear too. Just click it all the way to the side and just go up nice and controlled. And if you can run just one more step, 5 more steps, 10 more steps, even if it feels like it's the same pace as hiking, over time, you'll be able to run more and more of that. You'll get more specific adaptations and your climbing will improve. And also, the name granny gear, that comes from cycling, but much love and respect to grannies. My mom, Grandma Roach, total freaking beast. And we say that then granny gear is power, which is why it's named Granny. So yeah, the hills are done. And pound this gel, slurping in nature. Majesty of these pine trees. All past the palate. I'm getting way worse at... nope. Oh, man. I feel like eventually I'll get better at this, but I'm going to toothpaste tube this one, as someone said on YouTube. Because can't let any of this go to waste. My quads need it. All right, let's go down and do a little bit more. Take it to Kilian. That was a day. So 4:45 pace or so there, coming back down. I'm gonna be so sore for so long from those downhills. Yeah, that was tough. I think I'm probably gonna be sore for about 5 days from that downhill, but I'm getting hardened for the summer and hardened emotionally. That's the big transformation I've had in the last years. I've put out Strava files for over a decade that could do things like win International Trail Performance of the Year, I think, like last year's Leadville did. But it wasn't until I leaned into the fact that I don't need to be loved by everybody. It wasn't until that moment that I found the superpowers when things are hard. And so, yeah, this is a lovey-dovey positive channel, and you're going to see a lot of that from me. And, you know, I understand if that's not for everybody, but just know that behind it, underneath this nose strip, is an actual scar, an actual one from when I got hit by a car last year. Had a severe concussion, traumatic brain injury, terrible depression last summer before Leadville. Broken bones, launched through the air 100 feet. There's a real scar under here. And so if you're seeing me smiling and seeing me say loving things, I hope you also see that scar and know that it comes with a lot of shit that I've been through, that everybody's been through. And so if you're out there and you've been through shit, no matter what you think about me, I love you. And I hope so much that you can find, you know, peace and love in the world as much as you can. And trails make it so much easier, right? Because it just makes things feel bigger than a social media post. So yeah, let's embrace our scars, because that's what makes us tough. And I think that's the only place where real positivity actually comes from. So love you guys. Cody, I'll meet you down here. I get to go do a cool down now. Woo! Love you guys.
After all of that, after that, you know, journey into getting myself through that workout through whatever means necessary, which meant leaning into different types of emotions, now lean back into like love and positivity, and that I want everyone to feel welcome. And I want everyone to feel as if they're just, you know, included, and that they belong. Because I know that I spent so many years feeling like I didn't, and feeling like I was just, you know, even though I wasn't, I was just in my own head so much. And so, yeah, let's choose door number 2, the door of struggle and strife and doubt, because that's where all the magic happens. It definitely doesn't happen at finish lines. And if I get to that finish line and it is one of those magical days like I got to experience last year, I just know it's only going to happen because of the struggle. Not just the struggles now, but the struggles when I was 11 years old too. And so God bless the struggle. And I'm going to wear that part on my sleeve too.
Just like crossing the finish lines, hard hands. You know, I know that I channeled some different emotions on that one, and expressed them in a way I never would have done before, because, you know, I know that's not, you know, fully positive to everyone, but like, you know, we all contain all of those things within us, like everything, every emotion. And it's okay to fan the flames of the ones that bring out the best in you when you're out there running. So I did that. Now we're back to hard hands. Put them up one time, particularly for the haters. Still thinking of Kilian. I'm carrying heart rocks down mountains, barely staying upright. He just flies. Ah!